When did Ja Rule start claiming a gang? I need to know this just for the sake of knowledge. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is Can I Be Earnest, back with another video. YouTube was messing with my channel, man, and I just needed to reassess things and see if I really wanted to do this. I don't like the little trickery going on, but we'll get into that in another video. I wanted to talk about the recent clip going around of Ja Rule performing at Hot 97 Summer Jam. Hot 97, for those of you who aren't from the New York, New Jersey area, Hot 97 used to be one of the more prominent hip hop and R&B radio stations, mainly hip hop radio stations throughout the late 90s, early 2000s. And so legendary DJs like Funkmaster Flex, DJ Clue, DJ K Slay, DJ Envy, they all kind of got their name there. So every summer they run an event called Summer Jam. And usually you have some of hip hop's best performing there. This year they decided to, I guess, put Ja Rule and Jim Jones on the bill, amongst other artists. And in the recent video of Ja Rule performing some of his hits and maybe a few new songs, he's walking around and he has a red bandana coming out of his pocket. Now that's bothersome for a guy like me who is from New York and can remember when Ja Rule got started in the mid-90s. On a little cable station called The Box, you would see a young Ja Rule, a young Irv Gotti, rest in peace, and they were performing some of their songs with Mike Geronimo. If you guys go back in time with me, then you know who I'm talking about. And during that time of New York City, mid-90s, you didn't see a lot of the bandana stuff, gang banging stuff. We had our own gangs in New York City, mainly drug gangs. Ja Rule never was flagging out of his pocket, ever, to my recollection. So I know some apologists are going to think about his second album, where he's channeling his inner Tupac and he has a red flag over his head. So keep in mind, at that particular time in hip hop, late 90s, early 2000s, it was just a trendy thing to do. All artists from all coasts were wearing bandanas to kind of match their outfits. You had R&B guys doing it, like Jagged Edge. It was just a hip hop look. I never really got caught up into it, but it was the hip hop look. We know in the early 90s, that was more of a Tupac thing. Prodigy from Mobb Deep did it, and you would wear various colors. It was kind of like your gangster fitted cap back then, even though people wore fitteds, but it was like your crown, like I'm a G, So you had guys like Tupac, you had guys like Tretch from Naughty by Nature, you had Prodigy from Mobb Deep, amongst others. It was just a trendy thing to do. Of course, things shifted. Late 90s, early 2000s, New York City starts to adopt this gang culture, blood crip culture. You started seeing people like Jim Jones and Joel Santana. And then sometime around 03, 04, I started to see Lil Wayne with the red flag a little more. Then he was talking about it in his lyrics. I wasn't a fan. I'm still not a fan. But he was trying to connect himself with Dipset and whatever. Maybe they got initiated. I don't know. I don't know the street politics between those guys, but I wasn't a fan. You're from New Orleans. That's not what people in New Orleans did at that time and prior to. Whatever guys do now, different story. Late 90s, 80s, early 2000s, people weren't banging Bloods and Crips in certain towns that they now are all of a sudden all over the place. But we're going to get back to the point in hand. The point is, when did Ja Rule start claiming a gang? I need to know this just for the sake of knowledge. I was one of these fans who actually liked Ja Rule. I liked the whole harmonizing over rap songs. I liked it. When everybody was making fun of him and 50 Cent was coming at him, I was champion Ja Rule. Always on Time and We Cry Together and all these little R&B hip hop songs, man, I loved it. I loved it. It was different. while there were a bunch of lyricists around and making, shoot 'em up, bang, bang type music, you had this one guy with this raspy voice harmonizing. Rainy Days with Mary J. Blige. I was a fan, but I'm not gonna sit here and co-sign a guy pushing 50. He's only a few years older than me. A guy pushing 50 now wanting to wear a flag. Like, what is with these entertainers, these multimillionaires living in mansions who start banging after they get money? I'm so confused. These entertainers can afford everything. Their children are good. Most of the times their children are in private school. Their children, go to college. They graduate college. They live good lives. What is happening with entertainers, hip hop artists in particular, who need to feel a sense of security by joining a gang in their latter years? If you would have told me Ja Rule was banging 30 years ago, I'll let you rock. When New York was starting to adopt this whole gang culture in the mid to late 90s, if Ja Rule would have come out then doing it, I would have scratched my head. But then it would have been at least 25, 30 years of him claiming. But in 2025, a mysterious flag comes out of your right pocket with matching red gloves. You could tell me that's fashion. I don't think that's fashion. Ja Rule was just on the Breakfast Club mourning the loss of his good friend, Irv Gotti. And I'm listening to him talk about his daughter getting married and he's about to be a grandfather. You want to be a grandpappy that's gangbanging. I believe he said he's about to be a grandfather. I could be wrong. I'll fact check that. But I could recall him mentioning just being proud of his kid. You want to be a grandpappy, somebody pushing 50, banging. It's one thing if you started in the culture. I have nothing to say about guys like Snoop and Corrupt and all these guys who were teenagers doing this stuff. I can't co-sign guys who were millionaires by 25. I can't co-sign Lil Wayne doing this. I can't co-sign Ja Rule. I can't co-sign Chris Brown. I can't co-sign any of these guys who now want affiliation. I don't know if this is extortion type of thing where, you have to pay off these gang members to feel protected and maybe they initiate you. I don't know the politics, but I don't understand why guys feel the need to do these types of things the older they get. It makes no sense to me. None. Ja seems to be on a comeback trail. He has new music coming out. Maybe this is how he gains new fans. I don't know. I didn't know gangbang was still cool, to be honest with you. I thought this generation coming up, the late teens, early 20s were kind of just, I don't know, shifted a little bit. So I don't know if Ja's trying to get the young consumer, because guys like me, mid 40 guys, we don't care about none of that stuff. Especially if we didn't grow up in it. We don't care. We don't care to see our favorites. If I saw Jay-Z claiming a set right now, I'll throw all his music away. All the CDs that I still have, trash. It's one thing when you hear about your favorite artists having like bad addictions, drug addictions, sexual addictions, crazy lifestyles. That's already hard enough to deal with. But I don't want to see my guys, the guys that I grew up liking and listening to and supporting and buying their music, I don't want to see them try to convert to a lifestyle that's not them. If you were dealing drugs in the 90s and 80s and all that stuff and were getting money and all that, that's enough. That's enough, because New York City, we didn't do all the California gang stuff. That wasn't what we did. And people have said it till they were, blue in the face. That was not a New York thing. I was furious when Jim Jones started all that, stuff in his music. Furious. I'm like, where did this come from? You can tell me 1993. I was outside in 1993. You can tell me that was, happening in 1995. I was outside in 1995. We didn't do that citywide. If it was in jail, it was in jail. Citywide, select areas maybe throughout the 5 boroughs, it was not what it's become. So I would like to see more people press these New York artists and others. They don't have to be from New York, but I would love to see these podcasters and others press these artists who decide to do these things later in life. You can't be 50 years old and now claiming something. You can't. Your poverty-stricken days were 40 and 30 years ago. You're married with kids. You didn't grow up into the lifestyle. Why are you into the lifestyle now? Make it make sense. And I know there's going to be apologists that hear this or that hear other people complaining about this and say, oh, you hating. Oh, let him get his money. You know, let Ja eat. He's been eating. He's been eating. If I saw 50 Cent, I'm trying to think of old heads. If I saw 50 Cent right now, or members of Wu-Tang, claiming Blood or Crip said, I'm losing it. All merchandise, all music in the trash. In the trash. If they were claiming on the low back in the day and didn't make it known, different story. But if you're now trying to capitalize off of this gang culture and you're touching 50, shame on you. Shame on you. You got the whole game backwards. And more people need to speak out on it and stop supporting. I would love to hear what Ja Rule has to say, because apparently it's making a little noise. Press him. Somebody press him. Hey, Ja, big fan of yours. I have to ask you, when did this become a thing? When did you start flagging? Talk about it. Be respectful about it. Don't come at him inappropriately where you want smoke. Come at him nicely, professionally, and perhaps Ja, who speaks well, perhaps he gives you an answer, or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't feel inclined to respond. Lil Wayne has never really answered those questions when people used to press him about his affiliations. And again, there's no obligation. You don't have to tell us anything. But as long-time supporters, it'd be nice to know, Ja, when did this happen? When you were screaming murder and throwing up the Murder Inc. sign, I don't remember anything with red flags, ever. So if someone sees this video and tells me it's a fashion thing and maybe it was intended to match whatever cockamamie story I hear, I'm willing to listen. But until then, can't support Ja after that.